Ganon yung mga statement na naririnig ko po sa inyo eh. Di po ba? Would you agree with that?
Who wants to answer? From the...
Kayo, gusto nyo magkaroon ng firearms for self-defense. Di po ba? Yun naman ang katotohanan eh. Bakit po di natin aminin? Sige nga. Eh bakit kayo tahimik ngayon?
Any other resource persons who wanted to answer back? Mr. Rico? Mr. Rico?
Yes, thank you for recognizing this input, Honorable Fernandez. So, for our feedback, and this comes from our experience of owning firearms for many years now. Of course, we all want safety, and our firearms laws here in the Philippines at present are actually doing a very good job at keeping the public safe. However, I believe that there is somewhat of a false dichotomy here between having to choose between safety and accessibility, because the reality here is that we can have both. We can have both. We can have very safe firearms laws and at the same time improve the efficiency to help lawful gun owners. And the reason why this is important is because the more we restrict firearms ownership, the more loose firearms proliferate. It is very easy for criminals to acquire firearms illegally. And if we make it very difficult for people to own firearms, it will only mean that criminals will have a bigger disadvantage over us, and the more likely that firearms being sold in the black market will proliferate, because legal firearms are very difficult to acquire. So I think that we can accomplish both by working together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Actually, mag-12 na, and we have another schedule. And probably, if Chairman Akop is already done. You're not yet done. Sige, go ahead.
I might be a member of the technical working group. Gusto kong malaman na kung ano kaisipan nila eh.
Alright.
Bago kuhan.
So you want to this other resource person to answer as well?
Sinasabi po nila, the right to own a firearm is associated with the right to self-defense. Ganon yung mga statement na naririnig ko po sa inyo eh. Di po ba? Would you agree with that?
Who wants to answer? From the...
Kayo, gusto nyo magkaroon ng firearms for self-defense. Di po ba? Yun naman ang katotohanan eh. Bakit po di natin aminin? Sige nga. Eh bakit kayo tahimik ngayon?
Advocates. Attorney.
If I may, yes, Representative Akop, that is mentioned in Section 2 of 10591, sir.
Oh. If you read Section 2 of RA 10591, Declaration of State Policy, the state recognizes that the right to self-defense is provided as a justifying circumstance under the revised penal code. However, this right to self-defense, it is to be done through the use of firearms, is granted only to qualified, underscored, qualified citizens. And therefore, there's a need for regulation. Would you agree with that also?
Attorney, go ahead.
Yes, Representative Akop, yes, there's a need for regulation, which is why we are here today to propose what possible means of regulation may be, because even if it were loosening or restricting, either or would still be regulation.
And assuming for the sake of argument that the right to possess firearms was considered a property right, it is doctrine also that property rights are always subject to the state police power. Would you agree with that also?
Yes, your Representative.
And therefore, regulations have to be made.
Yes, as long as it is reasonable, Your Honor, and following the proper standards of the strict scrutiny test, intermediate scrutiny test, or rational basis, as the case may be, sir.
Now, this question would be addressed to the public and the private resource persons. Why should one have 20 firearms if the purpose is for self-protection or self-defense?
O, dito muna sa mga gun advocates. Dito muna tayo. Left side. Anybody can answer. Again,
Your Honor, while we understand that the license to own and possess a firearm is a privilege premised on one's inherent right to self-defense, it is also understandable that it being property, if a person is already licensed and qualified to own a firearm, they may own multiple firearms as they may wish, and as long as the regulatory agencies would see it and deem fit that they can own it. And by the current status of legislation, it would depend on the specific type of firearm if they are allowed to own 2, 5, 10, 15, or more, Your Honor.
okay, sa side ng ating mga government agencies, you want to reply on that? O, sino? Sino po?
Yung pulis dapat sumagot eh.
DND and PNP
Bakit
siguro.
yung pinapayagan? Kasi, sa tingin ko, mas marami kayong earnings na nakukuha. Kasi mas maraming napapalisensya na firearms eh. I think that's the only logical reason that I can see. Why would an individual, single individual, need 20 firearms? If he's not a, shall we say, anong tawag na natin po doon, yung collector of firearms. Sige nga,
Geraldine,
justify.
Mr. Chair, we have gun owners or shooters who likes to compete in every category. Merong pistol, merong revolver, meron din pong rifle. But meron din pong shotgun. Pero meron din po talaga, sir, napansin kami na nangongolekta lang po ng mga various calibers ng firearm.
Under the law, meron kayong category ng mga firearms collector eh. Di ba? But you are not answering my question. What is the logic behind an individual owning 20 firearms if he is not a firearms collector?
in other words, bakit nyo pinapayagan? Kung hindi naman po sila, aside from being a guns collector, di ba? So, bakit natin pinapayagan?
Before,
Sige.
nung nasa serbisyo pa ako, one long and one short lang ang allowed eh. Would you agree with me also?
Yes, sir.
Yes. One long, one short lang allowed na bago na ng mga batas. Now, give me the logic why an individual person would be allowed to possess 15, 20 firearms. Bakit? And why would a person need 50 rounds of ammunition, more than 50 rounds of ammunition? Except for those firearm, shall we say, involved in sports.
Okay, Mr. Topacio, go ahead.
Mr. Congressman, I can cite an example on why a person would need more than 15 guns. So,
More than 20.
yes. So before, if we talk about 15 to 20 years ago, ang uso lang po is a 1911 and a rifle. But now with technology, if you notice, if you go to the gun show po, Mr. Chair, may I remind you, we're all for safety. When we put up gun shows, most of our seminars is about gun safety. We prioritize safety. Most shooters prioritize safety before they even shoot. That's the first thing you are taught. So, with regards to a person owning 20 guns, it's different for every scenario. For example, I'm a sport shooter. If I get into a category, let's say for example, pistol caliber carbine, when I compete, I don't buy one gun. I buy two. So dalawa na kagad yun. I also buy, for every category that I compete with, I need two guns, especially if I'm serious, if I want to compete. Because pag nasira ang isa, I have no time to repair or replace.